Bill Crane joins me now from Atlanta, Georgia. He's a political analyst and commentator. Bill, why is this bill so unpopular, if you will? A lot of Americans don't look at this as a big, beautiful bill. They say it's just going to hurt so many people.
These big omnibus bills, whether they're passed by Republican or Democratic administrations, are not popular with the general public, in part because we don't see the detail of what's in it. Buried in this piece of legislation, there's a part that lessens gun control on silencers, which are used to reduce the sound and muffle the shot of a gunshot. It has no business in a budget bill. So there's a lot of things in there that are not related to the budget. And even before President Trump was returned to the White House, House Republicans were talking about breaking the budget up into sensible pieces: national defense, healthcare spending, domestic spending, which is discretionary. And that all got tossed out the window to put basically all of the president's agenda into one massive bill that he's now arm twisting to get the votes for.
So, Bill, let me put you on the spot. How likely is this to pass the Senate?
I believe because so far the president has only had two public U.S. senators on the Republican side defect or say they won't vote in favor of it, Rand Paul and Tom Tillis, that he right now has the votes to get it past the Senate. I'm less certain of when the Senate sends its version over to the House. They only had a one-vote margin there, and they had 3 or 4 House members who were holding their noses who voted for it the last time, a couple of whom are very loyal lieutenants of Donald Trump, who've indicated they're not there yet. So whether there's a reconciliation committee, as a prior correspondent referred to, or the House passes its own version and sends it back to the Senate, that's a tight timeline to make it by the 4th of July.
How much of a political earthquake was this Tom Tillis thing? The fact that he said he's not going to vote for it, and then he said he's not going to run for re-election.
Not only that, but Laura Trump, the first daughter-in-law in chief, who's also the co-chair of the RNC and is originally from North Carolina, has indicated she may move back to North Carolina and run for the seat. There's going to be some ugly floor fights and backdoor scenery, if you will, around the big, beautiful bill. I do believe Donald Trump will finally, in the end, get his budget and most of his agenda passed. There will be some losses, and there will be some members who will be primary, both in the state, in the U.S. House and in the Senate, who don't go along because Trump has said very publicly, if you vote no, it's a betrayal.
Yeah. Bill, are there huge differences between the House version and the Senate version?
About $500 billion in spending. The Senate originally said they didn't like the House version because it was too expensive. But by the time it got to the Senate and you start corralling votes and adding programs here and there, it's another $1 trillion of deficit spending over the next decade. And former first brother, if you will, Elon Musk has said for the GOP, this is political suicide. It's not doing what they campaigned on and got elected on, which is reducing the size of government.
How invested do you think Trump and people in the White House are in terms of being involved behind the scenes and telling Republicans what they want to see?
Well, the president has held off from many trips to Capitol Hill, but he's been working the phones and speaking to the members who haven't expressed support or have expressed concern, one-on-one, individually. And some of those conversations got pretty heated, as I understand it, with he and Senator Tillis. So there'll be more of that in the coming weeks and days ahead. And again, I believe eventually he'll get his budget. But the golden dome he's talked about in space over the United States isn't even in there. And that's probably another $500 billion.
Bill, if this does not pass Congress, does it give Democrats an advantage, political advantage, if you will, in midterm elections?
The party out of power already has the advantage, and polling numbers don't look good for this piece of legislation when you look at what the general public says. I don't know that it affects Donald Trump with his base, but certainly with the GOP broader base that Donald Trump will not be on the ticket, yes, I think it will have impact, particularly in the U.S. House in the 2026 midterms.
All right, Bill Crane joining us from Atlanta. Thank you very much.